Shulam Aleichem. Hope you're doing amazing. I wanted to just offer two thoughts, two insights as to why we eat dairy on Shavuot and what we can think about when we're having our delicious cheesecake this Shavuot. So the first explanation given is by the Kolbo, who we actually don't know who he was, but he's an early Rishon and he gathers up the customs and he writes about this custom of having dairy. And he says the source is based on a pasuk, a verse in the Song of Songs, Shir HaShirim. The verse goes like this: Dvash v'chalav tachat l'shonecha. Honey and milk under your tongue. The Torah is compared to honey and milk, which when you put honey and milk together, it's a delicious combo, the most delicious combo. And so the idea is to remind us that Torah study, and Torah life needs to be sweet. On this note, the Levush of Mordechai Jaffa wrote an unbelievable insight. He says, every day we say the blessing, thanking God for learning Torah. And we generally would have assumed it's a birchos ha-mitzvah, a blessing that we do before we do a mitzvah. But in reality, it's not just any other blessing that we say before we do any mitzvah. It's a birchos ha-nehenin. It's a blessing out of pleasure. Because Torah study is meant to be such an enjoyable thing, just as enjoyable as when you're having that smoothie or that iced coffee, that delicious dairy drink that all of us love. So that is, or the hot coffee for some of us, whatever your dairy, preference, that's the sweetness that Torah should bring into our lives. And we should all be blessed to have Torah teachers who bring us Torah in a sweet way, and that Hashem should make Torah sweet for us. And that's what we're davening for. That's what we're praying for when we have that cheesecake, when we have that dairy on Shavuos, that this year the Torah should be sweet. The Gemara says that the reason the first Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, the temple was destroyed, is because they didn't say the blessings on the Torah. So, explains the Levush, of course they said a blessing, but they said the wrong type of blessing. They thought the blessing was just a regular blessing. Okay, I have a mitzvah. Thanks for the mitzvah. They didn't realize it has to be the same type of blessing I'm about to say when I'm, just about to have my delicious iced coffee, and I'm so thankful to Hashem because it's so sweet. That's the joy that we have to put into our Torah study, and that's the appreciation that we must have when we say Birchas HaTorah. The second explanation, on the flip side, I want to suggest is that the other function of milk. And I was thinking, when's the first time we encounter milk? It's a baby. A baby literally can't survive without his mother's breast milk. And then eventually he gets off at some point of breast milk and at least, and he's going to have regular milk. But his survival is based on this milk. This milk is not just delicious. Of course it's delicious, but it's its whole source of life. And so too, the Torah is not just delicious, but as the pasuk in Mishnah writes, Eitz Chaim hi l'machazikim bo. We have to remind ourselves it's our source of life. It gives us our energy. Every time we interact with Torah, every time we throw ourselves, Eitz Chaim hi l'machazikim bo, for those who grab onto it. Says Rav Chaim Vital, you have to grab onto Torah with all of your heart and all of your soul. If we grab onto Torah, and when we're learning Torah, we put all of our energy, intellectual and emotional, into that act of Torah study, then we're going to draw spiritual life into ourselves. And we remind ourselves of this when we have that dairy, that this is not just a luxury, but this is our source of life. In fact, in the blessing that we say before we say the Shema Yisrael, we beg Hashem, have mercy upon us. Hamrachem rachem aleinu. Have mercy upon us and teach us your Torah. In this world, we have so many different distractions and so much negative energy. We desperately need the Torah and the mitzvahs in order to resist the all the sorts of things going around us. And Hashem should bless us. So this should be a year when we recognize that Torah is our Eitz Chaim, it's our source of life. And if we embrace the Torah with that attitude, it will indeed be a very different type of Torah learning experience. So everyone here should be blessed with an unbelievable Shavuos, and sending hugs from the Holy Land. And if you enjoyed this, please come. We're going to have a shir at 12:30 at the Minyan in Aza Street. And there'll be a Torah study at 3 o'clock in the Old City, leading to Nate's with an unbelievable halal in the Old City. May you have a joyous, dairy-full Chag Sameach wherever you're at.